maybe just don't. There you go.
That's beautiful.
I care about you.
Thank
Could have
you.
just done it just then. Better. It looks pretty lovely. It looks pretty. See? Done! Look at that! Look at that! Just
If Tristan and Cassandra don't work out, Mavs is going to owe me for a bill for my therapist, because I try not to get invested in a couple this early in the season, but I can't help myself. Could they be any cuter? Oh my God. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 11, Episode 8. So the episode kicks off with Richard and Andrea still talking about his ranking and how Andrea feels about the ranking. And for me, I think Richard didn't rank the women as a holistic person. I think he just looked at their physical features and saw who he was attracted to and ranked them according to that. And so I think had he been asked to sort of rank the women as a person, all their best qualities, their features and everything, I think the ranking might have been different. But it seems Cassandra is very common with most of the guys. They ranked her highly. So I like the fact that Andrea was able to acknowledge that physically she's not the same age group as most of the girls. So it's feasible that, Richard could have liked them more just because they're still, quite young. Their features are still, everything is still in its place. And so I am happy they were able to address that and they were able to move on for that. For now, because I think they're a strong couple. Yes, they're physically attracted to one another. They seem to like each other as a person. So I hope they work on that instead of focusing on a task that obviously is meant to ignite some sort of emotion. But I think they need to move on from that. You then have Jaden and Eden sort of having a conversation about his, episode with his ex-girlfriend and the cheating. And so he eventually got to what I was saying, where I said that I think he cheated because he wanted to pay her back, but I think he should have explained that he was very hurt at the time. He was being very vindictive, and this is why he did this. I don't think he expected one of the friends to say, yes, I'll do it. And I think to him it was a surprise. And because he was in so much pain, he wanted to cause her the same amount of pain. This is why he did this. Although he said if someone were to ask him to do the same today, he wouldn't, because he's looking for ways of learning. He's trying to learn new ways of dealing with his emotions when he's in that sort of state. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes, but hopefully they need to do a lot more talking about it, especially in front of the experts, and see what the experts say and how they can give them tools to sort of navigate that. I like the fact that Eden was quick to hold his feet to the fire, which was good. She didn't just brush over it like Tori when issues with Jay came up. She was actually able to hold Jaden's feet to the fire, which I feel was a good thing. I don't even know what to say. I think this boy needs to go home. I don't know why Colin stayed. I don't know why he stayed in the experiment. I don't know whether the producers wanted someone toxic, so they decided to go with him, because they're given the ranking challenge and he ranks all the ladies, and then he puts Natalie at number 1, and Natalie's saying, I don't think this is genuine, because if you look at all the other girls, I don't think I'm in the same league. And he's sort of saying, oh well, but irregardless of what, I still feel like you're the most beautiful girl and you're the best for me. And it's like, no. He's spoken to someone. They've told him what to say and what to do in order for him to stay on the show. And this is what he's going to do, because his biggest fear was that he was going to be kicked off the show and would have to go to work. So I'm not buying him saying, oh, she's my number 1, because you haven't done anything to show that she's your number 1. You haven't spoken about her or treated in any way that makes people believe that she's number 1. So suddenly for you to say that, oh, she's your number 1, if you say so, I don't know. I'm not buying it. That's all I'm going to say. If you say so, but I'm not buying it. And then you have Richard and Andrea. They're sort of trying to move on from the ranking challenge, because I think it's just put a kink in their step. And so because Andrea felt some type of way, Richard has seen his error of his ways, and is trying to sort of make amends and make sure that his wife knows that, she is his number 1. Will that last? I do not know. Just because obviously there's going to be this insecurity that, so maybe he's just, going along with me just to stay in the process. Has his opinion of me changed or what? I think he should have told in more detailed as in regards why he put her number 3. I think he should have, without bruising her ego, somehow he should have come out with a way to say something that was positive, although he's trying, so I have hope for them. And then you have Ben and Ellie. Ben is the dude who, one of the bride's relatives, the cousin, was wondering whether he was really on the show for the right reasons or whether he was just there to be on TV and, get clout. And it's like everybody on TV is on TV just for the clout. Very few people go on there with the intention of getting married and they stay married and that's it. Most people go on reality TV to get the clout and find new ways of making money. So why the cousin was surprised, I don't get. Anyway, they're given a ranking challenge whereby they're ranking sort of what's their priorities or what are the qualities that they want in a relationship. And so you find that Ben is more set on physical appearance, securing wealth, whereas Ellie is more looking at family and sort of starting a family of her own. And so I'm starting to believe what the cousin was trying to say, that Ben is just there for the celebrity. But at the same time, this girl has been through a lot. You'd expect him to be more caring and more empathetic and be mindful of the things he says and does, but it doesn't seem to be that way. So Lucinda and Timothy carry out the values challenge. And for me, I knew there was always going to be a difference. There are certain things that you cannot change about them as a couple. I don't think you're ever going to be able to get Timothy to move out of his shell completely and suddenly start behaving like Lucinda. Just as I don't think you'll be able to get Lucinda to sort of tame herself just so, this man can like her and feel comfortable around her. Obviously, there is changes in their values that, Lucinda puts sex higher than, Timothy. Am I surprised? No. No, I'm not surprised. I think it's just a matter of, I think Lucinda and Timothy, if they're going to work, they're going to need a lot of help from the experts to sort of help them navigate their relationship. Yes, they both want to be good communicators, but it's how do you communicate, or how do you get your partner or spouse to understand what you're trying to say? So I think they have an uphill battle. And I think Tim, he's right to call himself a tin man, because he's very rigid in whatever he says and what he does. So it's going to be quite a challenge for them to see if they can work. But it seems like he's willing to do some work. But he might not be fully open, but he's trying his best, which one can only appreciate. Tristan and Cassandra are really, really trying to pull at my heartstrings, aren't they? I try not to invest in a couple this early, but oh my God, I can't help myself. So they had this conversation about intimacy, because Cassandra was worried that they didn't seem to be progressing. Even though Tristan had asked Cassandra if he could kiss her, it seemed he lacked the courage to do so. And so they tried to have this conversation, and all he said was he would wait for Cassandra to make the first move. And it's like, why are you waiting for her? He said he really liked her, but then I like the fact that the experts gave them a challenge to write a letter to themselves and sort of explain to their spouse how they feel or anything that might be sort of holding them back. And so for Tristan to open up, obviously we know he has body image issues in the sense that he was overweight as a kid and he really struggled with that. But then I think him explaining more about his problems with sort of dating and the challenges he faced when girls were mocking him, it does make sense. He knows he's been coupled up with an amazing girl, so he's trying to see how he can move forward and not scare her off, it seems. And so I like the fact that Cassandra on her part was very patient and was very empathetic and reassuring, and so it made it easier and more comfortable for Tristan to sort of explain why he's been avoiding kissing her. And so I hope they're able to find a way to move on from it, because I like the fact that Tristan also said that he promised himself that he would be open during the process and he would do everything to try and make his relationship work. So for him to be matched with Cassandra, someone he really likes, yes, he is worried that what if they kiss and things don't work out, but at the same time he wants to put in as much effort as possible, and if things don't work out, then he knows it's not through any fault of him not trying, because he has sincerely tried, which I thought was cute. Oh my, could they be any cuter? I don't know. So you have Tristan and Cassandra sort of in the park. They're just sitting and relaxing and just chatting about, the confessions week and the letter that Tristan wrote. And so then they start talking about the case, and Tristan is very nervous. I think Tristan knows that he's one of the lucky people in the experiment, because Cassandra comes across as very compassionate, empathetic, and very caring and very patient. So the fact that though they have these conversations, they don't become heated, and she's willing to wait and willing to understand him. I think this was one of the things that was making him nervous, because he said, "Oh, I'm worried that what if we kiss and there's no spark, then what happens, because I really like you." So he must really like her, and he's really struggling. So for him to just stand up out of the blue and be so spontaneous, go and get her a flower, and she tries to go in for a kiss, and he doesn't read the cues very well, and then by the time he reads the cue, it's too late. And so I love that about them. I love the fact that they're both able to understand and appreciate each other's quirks. And for Tristan, when he eventually did kiss Cassandra, his reaction was amazing. It was amazing. And for him to compliment her and then wait for her and sort of encourage her to say, "What about me? You didn't say anything positive about me in regards to the kiss." That was sweet. I like their banter, and I like how they are able to sort of have even the most serious conversations and not make them very awkward and very uncomfortable to watch. So that was cute to see. At least now that they've got over the hurdle of kissing, I wonder what their storyline will be. I hope the producers don't try and sort of mess about with them and sort of try and create them into the toxic couple. I love how they've grown this emotion towards one another, whereby they put each other first. They're worried about how the other person feels. They're empathetic to their needs. They're compassionate. So I love them as a couple, and I hope the editing doesn't suddenly change and turn them into something they're not. I'm surprised by the fact that we've barely seen Lauren and Jonathan. Anyway, we get to see them sort of put up the ranking pictures. And it was interesting that they chose each other first, which made sense because they don't want the drama. But then the people they chose last are interesting. For Jonathan, he chose Natalie. And I'm like, why? What has she done to him of all the people? And then for Lauren, she chose Ben. She said, she feels like he's just there for the clout, and he's not there for the right reasons. And it's like, you're all there for the clout anyway. You all know that it's a gamble. There is a possibility you might work as a couple. There's a possibility you might not work as a couple. So please don't make it a big thing about someone being there for clout when you're all there for clout. And then you have Lucinda and Timothy. Lucinda and Timothy, I don't know what's going on with them too, because obviously they had the issue with Timothy complaining about the fact that Lucinda is always up in his personal space. She doesn't even give him room to breathe, and he's sort of likened it to his dog, which I don't think was a good example. He said, his dog is always all over him, and and it's like, well, if you're used to your dog being all over you, then you should be okay with Lucinda sort of being all over you, because she's not doing it with malicious intent. She's just trying to sort of spark some sort of emotion or feeling from you. I know you're the Tin Man. I know you say, you're a slow burner, but I think at some point you're going to Lucinda, because she's been very patient. I wouldn't have expected her to be this patient or empathetic, but she has been trying. And I think he felt uncomfortable, and the producers must have poked him and asked him to go and speak to Lucinda. So he went to speak to her, and she's saying, "My love language is physical touch. You don't like being touched. So where does that leave us? What do we do in regards to romance?" And for him to argue that, "Oh, we've only been together for 2 weeks, so, it's still too early for you to say or do anything." It's like, nah, that's not it. That's not it. At least make more of an effort. Show her that you really like her. Show her that you want to get to know her and you want to grow your connection. Don't just sit there and watch telly while she's in the other room doing the laundry. That doesn't make sense. That's not why you're on the show. You're on the show to develop a relationship with someone, to get support from the experts, and see if you can nurture that into a lifelong relationship. So for you to want to sit and watch TV, production is not there to film you watching TV. I'm sorry. You need to get off your bum and make an effort, even if it's just to go and buy her some flowers and chocolates, something just to improve the situation. Just when you think Tim is going to be the trouble in the relationship, Sarah says, "Hold my beer." So they're given 2 tasks. First is, the confessions letter, in which Tim speaks about his ex cheating on him and how that sort of affected him, and how he sort of had issues obviously, it seems every other person on this show has been cheated on, which makes me wonder, have they been cheated on, or are they just looking for the best storyline? So if they say, you know, someone cheated on me, then the viewers are likely to be more empathetic towards them. I don't get it. And then next up is, you know, the challenge to look into each other's phones, and Sarah immediately refuses, and she says, you have to trust me. And it's like, what do you mean he has to trust you? He barely knows you. You've just recently got married to him, and yet you want him to sit there and listen to everything you're saying and believe it at face value. That doesn't make sense, because if tables were turned, would you be that understanding with him? Would you? I don't get it, and I don't trust it. I think there's more to Sarah's conversation. It's either she's been saying bad things about her husband to her friends, or she's been speaking to another guy. That's the impression that I get, and I totally agree with, you know, Tim, that something is not right, something is fishy. I'm sorry, but my dislike for Jake is increasing with every episode, with every moment that he's on my screen. The fact that he had to do the ranking challenge and he arranged the women according to who he liked, that's his opinion. I cannot critique him for that. But the fact that he had to criticize the two more mature people, you know, Lucinda and Andrea, and say, I would never see myself kissing those old birds. And it's like, why would you say that? What makes you think that you're so special? And Tori, given the fact that we're told that, oh, she's very confident, she hasn't done or said anything that convinces me that that's who she is. I think her friends just made it up just for the sake of TV. Because if she really felt some type of way, I don't know why she puts up with this man, in the sense that he told her, after he ranked all the other ladies, you convinced me that you deserve to be number one. And it's like, why should I have to convince you? And for her to try and sell herself to this man, oh, I'm this, that, and the other. No, he can either take you as you are, or he can keep it moving. There's no need for him to be a jackass and to speak to you the way he's done. I don't know what has happened to her, why she's lost the spark, what he's actually saying to her that's making her lose confidence in herself. Because this is not it, and I really hate this for her. And I don't know what needs to be done in order for her to sort of overcome this, because this man is now turning her into a shadow of her former self, and that's not on. I think it's either, you know, he changes his ways, or he's sent home. I think he's trying to humiliate her and humble her and make himself feel good by sort of belittling her and sort of being, what can I say, manipulating her, and sort of I don't know what word to use, in the sense that he's trying to sort of break her down and then make her feel like he's it for her, and no one else will be able to help her, or no one else can see her any better than how he sees her. And I'm not here for it. Anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 7. Bye guys.